If you are into game dev, having your very own game on Steam is the ultimate dream, and it is a dream of mine as well. So let me take you on a journey of going from an empty project to a fully fledged Steam game. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to give up and bury this in my abandoned game project cemetery. So before even starting a new project in an engine of your choice, you are using an engine like Godot, Unity or Unreal, right? You are not making a game engine from scratch, right? Right? You first need an idea, market research. You do market research. Let me explain. Since we are talking Steam and possibly millions of African dollars in revenue, you start by watching every video of Chris Zukowski on YouTube. He has lots of valuable knowledge and you can watch it for free. Wow. But allow me to summarize what you do before starting a blank project. For starters, you have to answer 3 questions. What is your skill set? What games do people want to play? And what games do you want to make? The first one is pretty easy. If you want to make a multiplayer or co-op game, but you have never even touched multiplayer, you'll spend more time learning than actually making a game. And since we are talking about commercial projects, you need to be confident and somewhat decent with your skills, which I am not. Next question is where most game devs fail. You need to work on something that people want to see, that people want to experience, and look, I'm all for just developing a dream game without any regard for analytics, wish lists, potential revenue in mind, but you have to ask yourself, do you want to do it full-time or is it simply a hobby? Of course, there is a chance that if you make a game and say to market research, it will be successful, but you can greatly increase those chances of success by pivoting your ideas towards popular trends. Last one is about having fun while making a fun experience for fun people. If you work on a game that you yourself wouldn't play, you will burn out faster, and we don't want that. Also, if you work on a genre that you enjoy, you probably know what makes that particular genre so profoundly lovable. Alright, it's finally time to talk about me. I did barely any market research, because I'm lazy. Since I wanted to make a retro shooter game, because it falls under my skill set, I checked out Dusk and Ultra Kill, both games that deeply inspire me. Low price, or rather medium price, means that I can use those games as a reference point, because I'm not gonna make a $60 game, obviously. And also, so many copies sold. Also from personal experience, games that are set in a dark, violent fantasy world usually perform well, so let's make a game. Usually the first thing you do when starting a new project is prototyping phase. No graphics, no art, no sound, just moving blocks. And since I don't want to bore you with this, here is the earliest footage I have, because I forgot to press the record button. As you can see, this is all basic stuff. Move around, pick up weapon, ammo, shoot, attack, kill, and so on. I also thought it would be fun to have every sound in this ancient stage come from my mouth. Oh, should have stayed. Oh, I'm never. I heard pretty cool, huh? No, okay. For the ground, I've decided to use Unreal's landscape tool because it's easy and I'm lazy. Here you can see me playing with a shader to get rid of that nasty texture tiling repetition. It's a simple micro-macro variation magic. I definitely know what that means. Next, a little interesting one, trees. More specifically, a wall of trees. In Dusk, there is this wall, which is a wall with a texture of trees. Tree wall. To do that, I grabbed these photorealistic trees, stacked them together, rendered them, and here we are. For this tree wall, I have used a world aligned texture node, which aligns the texture to the world instead of mapping it to the mesh. Looks cool, but why stop here? Render your trees as 4 separate images. Layer them together. Play with brightness and contrast to make the taller trees fade into the void. And now you have a beautiful forest. Ignore those lines, please. I came up with this idea to make a second tree wall behind the first tree wall and make it bigger to create this illusion of being in a forest. I'm clearly onto something. I replaced the tree wall with tree spline, easier to edit, as you can see. For the sky, I just copied default sky sphere material and played around with parameters. And that's like cool, I guess. Let's talk about something more interesting. Rocks. I exported those rocks from Unreal's marketplace to Blender, decimated it, scaled up UVs, and applied some rock texture. I thought it would be cool to add moss on top, and then an eureka! I placed the rocks at the edge of the world, scaled them up, and instead of moss texture, I used a snow texture. And boom, we have mountains! Okay, the map looks pretty boring, let's change it. Here's a cool little thing. With landscape, it's easy to add holes, and I wanted to add this hole to place a secret collectible in there. At first, I used planes, but it looked bad. And then, another eureka! I can just use rock models and apply a ground texture to them, and I have placed this secret in a very strategic place. You see, you have to do some parkour to progress, but if you fail, you'll have to go back, and when you do, you'll see this suspicious piece of ground. At first, you can't do anything about it, since you have no weapons, but after getting first weapon, you can go back, destroy it, and get that sweet achievement. Okay, back to the time-lapse. I have this underground section, but it looks very repetitive. I tried to break it up by introducing some micro-macro magic, but still looks bad. I haven't fixed it yet, but I plan to add some more props around and maybe some vertex painting. Weapons! We all love them. Since first weapon is a melee weapon, I made this warhammer because it's not symmetrical and it looks cool. After modeling, texture painting, which I did using Blender, and animating it, I put it in the game, obviously, and then another eureka! What if the weapon gets more bloody the more you hit flesh-type enemies? My god, this looks awesome! To achieve this effect, I have made a blood mask texture using Blender, and in Unreal weapon material, I blend between regular texture and color red using this parameter. Next was pistol. Again, I wanted something more unique instead of a regular Glock. So I found some inspirational art, got to work, modeling, texture, animating, blood, boom. I wanted to make some enemies, but I wasn't sure on what should they look like, so I have decided to take a break and make this video. So thank you for watching, and yeah, you can go now. Bye bye.